What's up everyone, Skizzers here, and welcome back to the Playbook, a series that goes over strategy, habit building, and tools you can use to get yourself top fragging and carrying your team in no time. In this video, we will be discussing decision making in impossible situations, potential plays that could result in success, and breaking down what you're thinking about during clutch situations. So, as per norm, let's check out the clip. Now for this one, things I want you to keep in mind here, just for my own sake a little bit. This game I was playing around 3 a.m. so I feel like certain shots and decision making weren't the best here, but that's what we're doing the video to break it down. And also this is a non-successful clip. We end up losing this round, but I wanted to go over it and everything kind of involving it. So here we go. Let's play the clip.
Blocking sight. Blocking sight. See ya.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Oh, nice try, bro.
Alright, so starting at the beginning here. Team that I was with a 4-stack, so those guys, the other 4 members, were in a party. I was a solo queue, and they wanted to do a B site execute, which is perfectly fine. It's all good. I tried to figure out what I needed to do in that situation, and I figured if there's somebody close, I can block them off with smokes and block kind of those potential starting angles. So right off the bat, there's something that happens that 3 a.m. Skizzer's brain did not catch. You know what that is? Seeing somebody right on up at the top here, like I don't know, I looked at him and I remember my brain processed that there was somebody here, but it didn't process that I need to shoot somebody. but it did. I did see that person, and then my brain just was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Luckily I turn around, back around, and go, wait a minute, I really did see somebody there. And then I try to flick up to try to get a shot off, and I'm still moving, so you see my shot lands over here. I'm still running, but after some really shaky aim and just hoping that a bullet hits before my teammate gets killed, which teammate did get killed unfortunately, I get that, grab his gun, finish off the next target. So now we have sight and we're playing the bomb, and the call is made that somebody needs to watch garage, which I agree with. And just in case they're on a quick flank, I dash in here to get here as quickly as I can to try to get a good reposition. Now, disaster happens here because I'm sitting on this angle for a couple reasons. One, right now I'm looking here because my team had just called out that people, the 2 of them at least, had dropped down from heaven, which is up here. So 2 of them have dropped down, and I figure, well, if they're gonna drop down and they're gonna run this way, being like, if we're looking at the minimap here, 2 players drop like that. I was figuring I could take out this guy over here that was going to be close. So I was going to be able to pick off that player. And at the same time, if anybody's coming from B main, they're most likely not going to check right here because they are executing a retake themselves. So they're retaking right now. They're coming out of B heaven, and we have 1 player missing that we don't know where that player is, right? So with them pushing over there, I figured, well, maybe the other person was playing mid potentially, and they're flanking all the way around like this. So I thought, hey, if they end up pushing through, I'll be able to take out the target here, and then I can worry about going back into sight and kind of retaking sight. But what ends up happening is they all push from heaven. And right here, this is where I knew disaster was starting to occur, because if you look really closely here, our Raze is blinded. Now I don't know if you can tell, but her head's like kind of lit up, which means she just got hit by a Phoenix flash. So she's blind at the moment. And I went, oh no, they're executing. Well, what I'll do is I'll just hold this angle, and when they come around this way, I'll be able to take them out, right? At that point, it's kind of like you're not necessarily baiting your team, but you're looking to capitalize on their downfall, because there's nothing really I could do here. I don't have a dash. I'm out of dashes. I have updraft and I have alt, and I don't feel like I need to use alt in this situation because I have a pretty good angle, and I can't really go anywhere like from here to here with updraft, right? Because I'm missing the dash. I don't have dash. So what I end up doing is I try holding this angle, and then our teammate dies. Now, this was next level brilliance from the Sage. She probably figured somebody had come back into B main to watch it, slash garage, depending on, you know, what your call out is, but B main garage area. And so she walls me off. And at this point I'm going, oh crap, like I need a way to get back into sight, right? Because I gotta help my Brimstone out. He's getting pushed by multiple people. And I went, well, maybe Brimstone can like take out one guy at least, you know, make it a little bit easier. So I start walking, and Brimstone dies to the Phoenix. They both, Phoenix kills them both. So at this point, I'm going, okay, I need to get back into sight. We planted bomb on default bomb spot, which means I don't have an angle, because the bomb, like if the rest of the wall is kind of like that, right? Kind of like that's the rest of the wall. And then it goes out like this, right? We'll just make a rough box, rough 3D box. There's the boxes here, or there's that box right there that most people plant, and then the default is right there. So I can only kind of run through this way and then like turn and look to be able to see where the bomb's planted, right? And that's kind of the situation. So even if I can break through this wall and get around it, and even if I can get through at least two of the members, there's still probably one person diffusing, and I will most likely not have enough time to take out this person here that's diffusing. So this is the impossible situation that you'll find yourself in occasionally, where you're one person, you're against three, which is already very difficult, and you also have to be able to clutch. And in this situation, your only entrance point just got blocked off by a wall. Because I play Jet, I have a little bit of luxury here most of the time. If you're not playing Jet, or if you're playing somebody else, your only option at this point is to shoot this wall out. You just got to shoot it out. You'd probably be a little, if we're looking at the minimap here, you'd probably either be behind this wall or behind the wall here, not like in the middle of the hallway. So you would kind of either want to be a little further back, and you want to shoot this out, reload behind the either wall, whatever side you're on, reload, and then re-peek it, and then see what you can do with that, right? And use your utility the best you can to get back into sight to try to stop the defuse. Now as Jet, I have the liberty to just be able to jump over this wall, but if they're watching the wall, you know, I'm not in a good spot. But most of the time, if Sage walls off something, you're not thinking like, oh crap, this person's just gonna like jump on top of the wall, right? So right about here is when the diffuse starts, and I go, okay, this is what your brain has to do really quickly, right? I have 7 seconds to get there, because a diffuse time is around 7 seconds. Plant time is around 4. That's not really relevant here, but just in case you didn't know, planting a bomb is 4 seconds, and diffusing one is roughly 7. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's 7 seconds. So as soon as I hear the diffuse sound, I go, okay, it's me versus 3 people. One of them is diffusing, right? So one of them is diffusing. That leaves 2 other players that, if we're looking at the minimap, are either going to be in this area or they're going to be over here. I would have high doubts that anybody would be in this back area where I just drew that little X, because if you notice, there's a Viper wall there. So most people probably wouldn't be pushing through that. I mean, in this situation, you can expect somebody to be pushing through that, but they're definitely not expecting garage, right? So you probably have somebody holding this, you got the person diffusing, and then the last person's either here or here. And if they're over under heaven, in the hell area, they're most likely watching into CT. The person in backside would be watching over here, and then you have the diffuser. Or the person watching over here would be looking at heaven. So With the Sage wall, your options of line of sight, they're probably looking this way and that way. And they're not worried about this area. So what I end up doing here is obviously updraft, and you can see Viper's like trying to clear, I believe, and she finally figures out where the updraft came from. The sound, right? Just going back just a little bit. So that pops up. And now I have to make the decision, do I save my gun for whatever reason, or do I try to make a play? And at this point, the only real option is to make a play because you want to try to, save the round to win the round. And I jump up here, I get the pick on Viper, and I quickly flick back over to Phoenix. What I ended up doing here was I went to check this, so my eyes kind of do this, right? So I'm looking obviously here to hit that shot, and then if I advance a couple frames, so I'm getting that kill. Now Phoenix is popping out, but my eyes at this point are transitioning this way because what I'm doing is I am starting to look and see if there's anyone here. So this is where I'm focused right now. So in my peripheral vision, so if I just redraw this, so this is where I'm looking, and I'm also kind of like quickly just trying to peripheral this and that while I'm looking over there. But I also see in the corner of my eye this guy popping out. So I quickly flick back and try to get a kill, and I end up getting the kill. And at this point, assuming, once again, diffuse time 7 seconds, this whole play took 4 seconds, all right? Which means by quick math, we have 3 seconds left. So if Sage is right here defusing the bomb, I have 3 seconds to get from where I am to a spot where I could see her. So I need to be able to go this way and see her and win a gunfight to save the round, right? I actually didn't even know I was going to get an ace if I killed her. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just trying to get the round win. So options for getting there in roughly 3 seconds. Yeah, not a lot of choice typically. What ended up happening was Sage got off of the bomb defuse. So she got it to halfway, which means, 3.5 seconds remaining on bomb. And now she's actually just watching this angle, which was really smart. In this scenario, you can't just know that she did that, right? So in this kill, as soon as I gun him down, I think, okay, she's there. I need to get there because I have 3 seconds to kill her. Now I could have dropped down and just ran, but I thought what might be a better play is if she's sticking the defuse. That's what I expected her to be doing. If she's sticking the defuse, I can dash over. You can see she's not sticking the defuse, right? But I took the gamble and I said she's sticking the defuse. I can land here and she'll have roughly the same draw time as me to pull out her gun from the defuse. And then that gives me a fighting chance. Now, like I said, she made the smart play. And as soon as we see her, she's coming off the defuse, right? So she probably held it a little bit after Phoenix died, maybe like a fraction of a second after Phoenix died, and then she went, I need to be able to take out this guy. So I'm still mid-dash, and her gun is coming back up. You can see her, she's starting to pull out her gun. She's stopped the defuse. And that puts me in a position where I can't win unless she just doesn't hit me, right? Because now her gun's up, and my gun's still not up. And I land, and I look to start to attempt to take the shot, and then I end up getting killed. So the lessons to be learned here is that when you're stuck in an impossible situation, you have to take the 50-50 gamble almost every time. Even on a character that has as much mobility as Jet, I didn't think I had enough time to jump off the wall, run over here, and kill the person. Because in my mind, what I would be doing if I was the team of 3 versus a solo player, I would have 2 people watching angles and 1 person just sticks defuse, because there's no way that last player kills 2 people and gets over to be able to deal with the person defusing. So that's what I assumed was happening, because that's what I would do in that situation. And like I said, it turns out Sage ended up just going about halfway. And then once Phoenix died, once that death occurred, probably right about here, she stopped defusing and then she just held the angle. And I got taken out that way. So those are the main things I wanted to go over was, you know, the execute went well. And honestly, Sage like completely clutched that round with the wall. It made it near impossible for me to have an easy out. And that's really it. That's all I wanted to kind of go over is when you're stuck in these decisions, right? We got this great execute, 3v3. Unfortunately, I didn't kill Raze quick enough, so we lost the member. And then Reyna just ended up outgunning our Sage. So that was unfortunate, or an unfortunate thing that happened, right? But we you know, we got the good execute, and then now that we have control over site, it's completely up to the enemy to make the proper plays. And with me dashing over here, I figured, hey, this is going to be good. I can watch garage. And as we know, that wall pretty much won them the round because I would have been able to kill at least one or two of them from back further. But you know, we can only do what we can. So it ended up being a pretty good round overall. One thing I want to point out, if you do play Jet a lot, is I don't have it here, right? But if I had another charge of updraft, that dash I did, you can combine both updraft and the dash, right? So I could have started a dash this way, and if I used my updraft when I was about here, it would have propelled me while keeping momentum, and I would have actually ended up on top of this box, which honestly probably would have won me the round. Not having another updraft obviously can't win the round off that. But this, I believe this was originally a save round for us, so I didn't have full abilities or anything. And anyway, so those are the things I wanted to go over with the clip is just when you're thinking about making decisions around retaking or being in a situation that isn't favorable, like being in a 1 versus 3, you need to try your best to determine what's happening on the bomb site as quickly as you can and what options do you have. Because what ends up happening, right, is they start defusing, I get the double kill, and I'm not being kill hungry, I just know I have 3 seconds. So really quickly your brain has to be able to go, okay, if I just walk this way, do I have enough time to get them? Do I have enough time to go around and circle like this way, right? Can I circle around this to try to take out the bomb carry or the bomb diffuser? And in this situation, I made the wrong call, right? I didn't need to dash because they had stopped diffusing. So the right play here, in hindsight, was just to drop off of wall and then wide peek this angle, and I probably would have been fine. So this and that, those two things weren't good. The dash that I did when I used my dash to like fly this way, that wasn't the right play either. The right play was just to drop down and wide peek. But you have to be able to learn from errors and the mistakes that you might be making. And this is just one of them. So I had a pretty good round overall, and I went, oh crap, I gotta stop this diffuser, and boom, she's already on it to stop, you know, to take me out, and I get taken out. So I hope that this was educational, that helped you guys out a bit in decision making. This is really a breakdown of this one clip, but things that you might want to be thinking about during your own games. You know, if you're stuck in a situation where you're like, oh crap, one person's defusing, there's 3 of them alive, or there's 4 of them alive, what are your options? Where are people usually going to be sitting? Because I'll tell you what, before I did this updraft right here, right before I did this, I already had calculated, we heard the diffuse sound, there's probably one here, and there's probably one here. I doubt there's anybody here, and I doubt there's anyone that's in heaven at the moment. And except this person over here could be headed towards heaven, but you know, we don't know that for sure. So just things to get you thinking about. Now in the moment, you don't have time to kind of plan stuff out. You'll get used to thinking on the fly if this isn't a situation that you're used to being in. But just try to make the best call as you can and understand where people can be and where important targets that you need to be able to take out on retake. And like I said, I assumed somebody was over on this right side, and I look over, you know, I do a quick glance over to the right just to see if anyone's there, and then I saw Phoenix, so I flicked back to try to get him. And then obviously, you know, like I said, Sage MVP'd that. She put up the wall, made it much more difficult. The other thing too is, had the wall not gone up, I would still have an updraft. So I could actually do the walk-in dash updraft onto here, and I probably would have won the round off that, right? But the Sage wall prevented me from doing that. So anyway, that's all I want to go over. I hope this was helpful for all of you guys to kind of think more about the decisions that you're going to be making in rounds that may be very unfavorable to you. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to like it. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for more Valorant educational content. And I will be seeing you guys next week in the next Playbook episode. And until then, hope you all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.